My wife, Vivian Wright, was drugged with an aphrodisiac at a cocktail party and had sex with a male college student who looked a lot like me. I gave her 3 chances. The first time, to prove her loyalty, Vivian immediately sent that college student named Zachary overseas and spent 3 days and 3 nights with me in our bedroom. The second time, I ran into Zachary accompanying her to a prenatal checkup at the hospital. Vivian clutched my chest tightly, her voice trembling. "I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm pregnant. The doctor said if I abort, I might never get pregnant again. I swear, once I give birth, I'll send the baby to my parents' house right away and send Zachary away too. Please don't leave me." But just 3 days later, she competed against me at an auction for my father's belongings because of Zachary. When she saw my bids getting more and more aggressive, Vivian directly offered the highest price. This was the 3rd time and the last chance I'd give her. I rushed over to confront her. But Vivian didn't panic. She just frowned slightly. "Ethan, you know I'm about to give birth. Why are you still angry with me? Just endure for 3 more months, and we can go back to how things were." Hearing her words, I almost laughed until I cried. I finally decided to get divorced. But Vivian brazenly brought Zachary home. 1. "Ethan, I was wrong. Please don't leave, okay?" Seeing me decisively coming downstairs with my suitcase, Vivian's eyes instantly turned red. She immediately abandoned Zachary, whom she'd been comforting, and rushed to me, grabbing my wrist. Her whole body was trembling. "Honey, please, don't leave me. Trust me one last time. Zach just wants to be there when the baby's born. Once he sees the baby, he'll go abroad immediately. Everything will go back to how it was." Go back to how it was? During our struggle, the ring I'd worn on my finger for 7 years suddenly fell off. I watched as Vivian panicked and let go, her pregnant belly making it difficult as she bent down to pick up the ring. But I was forced to remember that just this morning, 8 months pregnant Vivian had brazenly brought Zachary through our door. He sat on the sofa, cradling my wife's pregnant belly, soothing her in gentle tones. At that moment, my heart, which should have been beating fresh and alive, felt like someone had split it open with an axe. The pain tore through me. I watched Vivian pick up the ring, full of joy as she tried to put it back on my hand. I stepped back and suddenly laughed, tears falling. "Vivian, we can't go back to how things were." "Ethan." Vivian stood frozen in place, the ring falling from her hand again, rolling to where Zachary stood. I ignored it, pulling my suitcase to leave past Vivian. But the next second, my hand was grabbed again with desperate force. I turned back to see Vivian, tears streaming from the corners of her eyes, her head turned, lips trembling. "Ethan, tell me what I need to do for you to stay." I looked at Zachary, who was standing on my wedding ring, his face full of anxiety as he watched me. My eyes unconsciously swept to Vivian's belly, ready to give birth any day. I was about to say it didn't matter. Whatever Vivian did couldn't change my decision to leave. "Vivian!" Behind me came Zachary's alarmed cry. His face pale, he collapsed to the floor. "My heart hurts." Vivian's expression changed instantly. She immediately released the hand she'd refused to let go of and shoved me aside, rushing to support Zachary. The force made me lose my balance, and the back of my head hit hard against the corner of the stairs. Everything went black. "Vivian!" I called out to her, my voice shaking. But Vivian didn't look back. I watched her frantically call for the driver, gently comforting Zachary, leaving me with only her hurried back. I was left kneeling there, laughing harder as more tears fell. Staggering to my feet, I casually wiped the blood from my forehead and called my lawyer. After drafting the divorce agreement, I went to the hospital. I stood outside the hospital room, watching Vivian anxiously guarding Zachary's bedside, though she was the pregnant one. Even though she wasn't carrying my child, whenever she showed even slight nausea during her pregnancy, my brow would knot in concern. But now she was serving Zachary tea and water. Vivian, I want to eat food you cook yourself, Zachary said pitifully. Vivian didn't hesitate for a second, her pregnant belly protruding as she headed out. I'll make it for you. Wait for me. My heart ached. After she left, I emerged from the shadows and pushed open the hospital room door. When Zachary saw me, his eyes reddened and he started his act. Mr. Wright, I'm sorry. I really do have a heart condition. I didn't mean to interrupt you too. Please don't hit me. His shoulders trembled, his sobs continuous, like a kicked puppy. What did Vivian see in him? I had no interest in watching his performance. I handed over a document. I have no intention of blocking your rise to power. Seeing the word divorce on the document, Zachary's tears froze on his face. You know very well that Vivian loves me. She won't agree to divorce. So this document, you help me get her to sign it. But Zachary seemed conflicted. This is a one-time opportunity, Zachary, I emphasized. Zachary stared at the document for a long time, biting his lip, finally clutching it in his hand. Thank you for making our family of 3 complete, Mr. Wright. Family of 3. My heart seized painfully, the pain stabbing through every breath. Then, I wish your family of 3 happiness. 2. Returning to the villa, I packed up and burned everything related to Vivian. Gold and silver jewelry, luxury goods, dolls, and couple photos, I burned them all. But when I saw a drift bottle, I paused. Inside was a wish written by 17-year-old Vivian. I'd read it many times. But today, holding the thin letter paper, I still couldn't resist opening it to read one last time. The paper had yellowed, but the handwriting remained clear. 17-year-old Vivian's handwriting was graceful and neat. To Vivian Wright 10 years from now. Vivian, you must be married to Ethan now, right? I'm so jealous of you. You have to love Ethan well for me. Remember to cook for him often. Ethan said he loves my cooking the most. Give him handmade gifts. He says the gift doesn't matter. It's the thought that counts. Make sure he stays warm. He gets cold so easily. Also, I promise to give him a baby that looks like him. A family of 3 would be the happiest. At the end of the letter, I discovered a line of small text I'd never noticed before. It was written to me, Ethan, if the me 10 years from now treats you badly, leave me and never forgive me. A tear fell heavily on that line of small text, accompanied by my bitter smile and nod of agreement, before I threw the letter into the fire. The flames leaped higher, bursting with sparks. By the time Vivian returned with Zachary, the sky was darkening. Zachary eagerly piled large and small luxury brand packages in front of me, saying they were gifts for me. Seeing this, Vivian looked at him with approval, but when she saw my lukewarm response, she helped Zachary try to please me. Ethan, look, Zach is actually quite kind. He picked all these out for you. If you don't like them, tell me what you want and I'll buy it for you, okay? But before she could finish, Zachary spoke up. Miss Wright, it's fine. Besides these, I prepared another gift for Mr. Wright. He'll definitely like it. With that, Zachary handed me a document envelope. I paused. Without thinking, I knew it contained the divorce agreement. I reached out to take it, but couldn't pull it away. Zachary hadn't let go. In front of Vivian, he looked at me, his voice low. Mr. Wright, don't forget what you promised me. Promised what? Vivian's face showed doubt as she turned to me with searching eyes. Under her sharp gaze, my heart tightened. I quickly nodded and pulled the agreement away. Fine, I promise. Perhaps Vivian's gaze was too probing as she moved forward to look at the agreement. I glanced at Zachary. He smiled triumphantly, then turned to Vivian and said, Miss Wright, Mr. Wright said that after I leave, he'll take good care of the baby. So I specially prepared this gift. You don't mind, do you? I don't mind. Of course I don't mind. Hearing this, Vivian's eyes lit up, smiling as she kissed my lips. Ethan, that's wonderful. You've finally come around. I knew you still loved me. Vivian, delighted, kissed my lips several times, making Zachary's eyes flash with jealousy. Perhaps the look was too obvious. Vivian released me, her eyes hesitating. "Ethan, Zach wants duck soup. You're the best cook. Could you let him try some?" The joy of finally getting the divorce agreement was instantly dispersed by absurd, laughable mockery. So, what exactly did Vivian take me for? Her lover, her husband, or Zachary's personal chef? But thinking that I'd soon be able to leave and not wanting any complications, I nodded wearily. "I understand. I'll make it for him." The moment I returned to my room, I opened the envelope and saw Vivian's signature on the agreement. I suddenly smiled. After signing the divorce agreement and hiding it, I went downstairs to the kitchen and made the soup as promised, instructing the servants to take it to Zachary. But soon after, I was startled awake by Zachary's alarmed cry. Hearing hurried footsteps in the hallway and Vivian's piercing scream, I quickly threw on clothes and opened the door. Then I heard Zachary shout, "I know now, Vivian, the soup, that soup. There's something wrong with it." As his words fell, I met Vivian's disappointed, resentful gaze, then watched as Zachary carried her rushing downstairs. By the time I realized the large patch of crimson blood on her nightgown, miscarriage blood, I was completely stunned. 3. I watched Zachary carry Vivian rushing toward the door, but even at this moment, she was still gently comforting him. "Don't be scared. I'm fine. I only had a small sip." "Vivian," I instinctively called out, my voice trembling. Finally, Vivian looked back at me. Seeing my terrified expression as I followed behind, her eyes suddenly became conflicted and sad. "Ethan." She wanted to call to me, but the pain in her body made Vivian's gaze turn from conflicted to ice cold. "Ethan Wright, you bastard." I still followed to the hospital. Standing outside the operating room, I watched Vivian gripping Zachary's hand, crying out again and again. "Zach, I'm sorry. If I die, take care of the baby. We were meant to be, but fate pulled us apart." The gurney was pushed inside, and Zachary desperately clutched at the door, shouting inside, his voice trembling terribly. "Vivian, come out alive. Do you hear me? You and the baby both have to live. I love you. I can't live without you." Watching their life and death vows, my heart quietly fell into a bottomless abyss. Fortunately, Vivian was fine and was eventually transferred to a hospital room. I breathed a sigh of relief, but unexpectedly overheard Vivian's conversation with the doctor. "Miss Wright, you ingested an excessive amount of abortifacient medication, which caused the miscarriage. And the soup you asked us to test does contain abortifacient components." As the words fell, the hospital room filled with suffocating silence. I could barely stand, clenching my fists tightly. Vivian lay in bed, pale and cold all over. She didn't speak, but I only felt suffocated. But I hadn't done anything, so who put the abortifacient in? That was obvious. I hurried away to the water room to confront Zachary. "Zachary, what's the point of this? I said I'd leave. I never wanted to get involved in your games. Why do you still have to frame me like this?" Looking at Zachary's haggard face across from me, my heart filled with both anger and confusion. But when Zachary met my eyes, his gaze revealed twisted malice. "Of course I know, but she loves you, doesn't she? Even if you leave, just that love alone will crush me and my son's future. So, I had to do this." I laughed bitterly. By his logic, wouldn't it be more convenient to just kill me directly? With a light laugh, I suppressed my anger and spoke coldly. "Since you know that, do you think she'll believe you?" Hearing this, Zachary's expression froze, looking at me with clenched teeth and helplessness. Clearly, he had no confidence he could make Vivian hate me. In the standoff, Vivian appeared in the hallway in a wheelchair. Her eyes were dark, but she said nothing. She told Zachary to leave, then looked at me with longing. "Ethan, I want to go home." As she spoke, I caught the slightest tightening of Zachary's hand clutching his clothes. But he tried to say something, but his words were stopped by Vivian's icy gaze. Zachary immediately fell silent, not daring to say more. I looked at Vivian's weak, exhausted face, completely devoid of anger, and pushed her wheelchair out of the hospital. Vivian's voice was still warm, but my heart was cold. The car was deathly silent. Vivian unusually didn't speak to me the whole way. I didn't pay attention, focused only on going to the Civil Affairs Bureau in the morning to process the divorce. After arriving home, she sent Zachary back to his room. I was about to leave, but Vivian's hand holding mine still hadn't let go. Her voice was gentle. "Ethan, come with me?" Not suspecting anything, I obediently followed her all the way to the underground wine cellar. Then I saw it, a huge golden cage. Immediately, my temples throbbed. I instinctively turned to run. But Vivian reacted faster. With a wave of her hand, bodyguards suddenly appeared and grabbed me. She had them stuff me into the cage.